My middle daughter brought it up first. We were sitting at this table on a Sunday afternoon in March. She had brought a folder with brochures from 3 places. She slid the folder across the table and said, "Mom, we love you, and we just want to talk about options." I'm 96 years old. I want to tell you exactly what I did with that folder, and exactly what I showed my 3 children 20 minutes later that ended the conversation then and forever. Let me tell you who they are first. My oldest is Catherine. She is 71. She is a retired school teacher and the most careful of my 3 children. She was the one who said the least at that table. My middle is Robert. He is 68. He is a contractor who has built his own business and is used to making decisions for other people. He was the one who said, "Mom, we just want what's best for you." My youngest is Patricia. She is 64. She is a nurse. She had brought the folder. I want to be precise about something because it matters. They were not bad children that afternoon. They were not greedy children. They were 3 people in their 60s and 70s who had begun to look at me the way I had once looked at my own mother in 1976. They had begun to look at me as a problem to be managed. I had been seeing it for almost 2 years. The way Patricia had started arriving 15 minutes early to look in my refrigerator. The way Robert had started asking about my driver's license. The way Catherine had started ending phone calls with, "Are you sure you're okay there alone?" I was okay. I have been okay. I have lived in this house since 1962. My husband died in 1998. I cook my own meals. I drive to the post office 3 times a week. I have a doctor who tells me I have the blood pressure of a woman of 70. But I knew the conversation was coming. I had been ready for it for almost a year. When Patricia slid that folder across the table, I did not open it. I did not even look at the brochures. I looked at her and at Robert and at Catherine, and I said, "Wait here, I want to show you something." I went into my bedroom and I opened the bottom drawer of my dresser. There was a manila envelope inside. I had put it there in 2002. I had not opened it once in 23 years. I want to tell you what was in that envelope. In 1976, my mother was moved into a nursing home. She was 79 years old. She had broken her wrist in a fall, and my brother and I had decided together that she could not live alone any longer. She lived in that nursing home for 11 years. She died there in 1987. I was the one who handled the paperwork after she died. I was the one who collected her things from the room. And there was one thing I took home that I never showed anyone, not even my husband. It was a small notebook my mother had kept in her bedside drawer. She had written in it in her own handwriting almost every day of those 11 years. The notebook was not a diary. It was not a record of her days. It was a list on every page of all the things she missed. The smell of her own laundry, the specific weight of her own iron, the sound the back door of her house had made when it opened, the way the kitchen window light fell on the table at 4 in the afternoon, the exact location of the dish soap on the counter beside her sink, her own pillow, the taste of the water in her own tap. She had written on one of the last pages, in handwriting that was beginning to shake, "I would give the rest of my life for one more morning at my own kitchen sink." I had kept that notebook for 38 years. I walked back into my dining room. My 3 children were sitting where I had left them. The folder of brochures was still on the table between them. I sat down. I put the notebook in front of Patricia. I said, "This was your grandmother's. She wrote it in the 11 years she was in a nursing home. She never showed it to anyone. I've never shown it to anyone. I want you to read 3 pages, and then I want you to tell me which place in your folder you would put me in." I pushed the folder back toward her with one finger. Patricia did not open the notebook for a long time. Robert leaned forward and read over her shoulder. Catherine had taken her glasses off and was looking at her hands. I want to tell you what they read. My mother had written on a Tuesday in 1981, "Today I asked the woman if I could make my own coffee, and she told me they make it for everyone." I said, "Yes, but I would like to make my own." She said, "You don't have to do that anymore." I sat in my chair after she left and I thought, I never wanted not to have to. I only wanted to. Patricia closed the notebook after the 3rd page. She did not look up. Robert was the first to speak. He said, "Mom, we didn't know." I told him, "I know you didn't. I never told anyone. But I have been looking at her notebook for 2 years now, ever since I knew this conversation was coming. And I want to be very clear about what I am telling you." I told them this. I am 96 years old. I am ready to die. I am not ready to be moved into a place where someone else makes my coffee. The day I cannot make my own coffee, the day I cannot stand at my own kitchen sink, the day I cannot decide what time I go to bed, I will not be alive in any way that matters to me. And whatever years I have left, however few, I am going to spend them here, in this house, where my husband and I lived for 36 years, and where my children grew up, and where I am still every single morning, the person who decides. Catherine was crying by the time I finished. Robert had not looked up. Patricia was holding the notebook against her chest. Patricia said, "Can I keep this?" I said no. I said it would go to whichever of my grandchildren still lived in their own kitchen when I was gone. They were not to give it back to me. They were not to mention it again. They were to take their folder and the brochures, and they were to go home. That was 3 years ago. I am sitting in my own kitchen as I tell you this. I made my own coffee this morning. I will make my own dinner tonight. My 3 children come for Sunday lunch when they can, and they have not, in 3 years, mentioned a brochure or a folder or a place where someone else might make my coffee. I do not know how long I have. None of us does, but I know this. The notebook in my bedroom drawer did in 20 minutes what 20 years of arguing could never have done. If you have something in your life that proves who you are, in your own writing or someone else's, find it. Keep it where you can reach it. There may come an afternoon when you need to put it on a table and let it speak for you. That is what saved me from a folder of brochures. I'll see you in the next one.